What is up, guys? Stu here. A couple of weeks ago, I put out my first video on the channel for quite some time. Let's call it a comeback. We'll call it a comeback video. Sorry, LL Cool J. But in that, I caught you guys up on some films that I'd seen but hadn't reviewed on the channel, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Midsommar, and Lion King. And we're gonna fucking do it again, because I promised I would, and I'm just that nice. And I've got to put some content out somehow. And you guys have been great and suggested some films you want to see me talk about. But there's also some other ones that you haven't suggested that I want to talk about. So let's mish those together. Mish those together? Fuck, it's staying in, isn't it? And this week it looks like we stumbled ourselves into a very superhero-centric movie catch-up. I know, right? Crazy. How do we get 3 superhero films into one episode? It's not like they come out all the time. Constantly, regularly, all the fucking time. Don't know why I'm complaining. I ruddy love them. So let's kick things off firstly with a suggestion from you guys. Today's comes from Agent McQueen. How's it going, dude? And he suggested Endgame. Which, I gotta be honest, I completely forgot I haven't told you guys any of my thoughts on that, which is a bit strange considering it's literally the biggest film of all time. So I guess I should scrape the noggin for some thoughts on that one, right? You guys know I'm a fan of Marvel films. They alter in how good they are. With that many films in your catalogue, you're bound to have a few loose threads that aren't quite as good as others. Looking at you, Doctor Strange. Oh, controversial? Maybe. I don't know. It's shit. Sorry, guys. Doctor Strange is pants. But on the whole, I've pretty much enjoyed all the Marvel films. I loved Infinity War. It's one of my favourite all-time Marvel films, so the follow-up, the second part of it in Endgame, obviously I was excited for. And it's not a small task on Marvel's back to try and pull this one off, but they fucking did it. Again, it was cracking. Gotta be honest, I don't think it is as good as Infinity War. I do feel like Infinity War was much more of a kind of concise film. If I want to whack one on, I'm gonna go and watch Infinity War, you know? But Endgame is much kind of slower and meatier and thematic, I guess, as a film, which I think really works. Ultimately, the characters at this point are so good that I do just enjoy seeing them all interact and do their thing. Infinity War was much more about Thanos, where this one is sort of everyone dealing with everything afterwards, and I like that meaty character stuff there. But the comedy works, the characters work, and the final, like, 40 minutes are undeniably some of the coolest and most satisfying comic book throwdowns you've seen ever. It's glorious. It's so glorious to watch. I don't know what else to say, really. It's not my favourite Marvel Cinematic Universe film. As I said, I do think I prefer Infinity War overall. But it delivered pretty much everything I wanted it to deliver, and it did a good job of wrapping up all of the threads, because God knows how many there are in the Cinematic Universe at this point. So let's move on to the next one to catch up on, because that's how this goes. Why am I explaining it? It's Spider-Man Far From Home, and it's not that good, really. Disappointing. I liked it. I did like it. Let's get that out of the way. As soon as you hear someone say, oh, it wasn't that good about anything that everyone else is going nuts about, you immediately go, what? He must hate it. I don't hate this film. I don't think it was bad. It just felt like a particularly average entry. I don't know whether it's because it just came after Endgame, but there's just so many things that felt missed here for me. And also, what the fuck is that name, Disney? What the fuck is that name? Do a different name? Anything. Call it Spider-Man fucking peanut butter. For what? It's a better name than Far From Home. I'm composing myself. It just... a sore subject. I don't... no. Okay, let's move on. Things I liked about this film are the action. The Spider-Man action is really entertaining and really, really good. Some of the sequences are probably some of my favourites we've seen in a Marvel film. Like, there's some really insane, trippy, dreamlike stuff, which is just really satisfying to watch. And again, Tom Holland is good as Spider-Man. I do feel like this is perhaps his weakest outing, and I think maybe it's just because of the context of the film he's in, and that kind of carries through in a lot of things in this film. Zendaya as well. Look, I've just spoken at length on my podcast about how much I love Zendaya in Euphoria, which if you haven't watched yet, go and fucking watch all those episodes right now. She redeemed herself in Euphoria, but before I saw that, Zendaya just hasn't blown me away, guys. And Spider-Man Far From Home was maybe the nail in the coffin for me with Zendaya, where I was just like, I don't think I'm on this train. I'll see you guys later. And it's just the character and the whole, oh, I'm an angsty teen. Whoa, I'm so unique and standing out. No, you're fucking not, are you? You are fucking not. I don't like to include myself in all the things that all the other kids are doing, because I'm me in the corner. Shut the fuck up, mate. It got pretty boring quite quickly, and I enjoyed her character in Homecoming. Didn't find it too obnoxious there, but here, I don't know what it is. Just as soon as she popped up on screen, I was like, I don't like you, and I don't want to keep seeing you. And yet, like a shit that won't wipe, there she was. Oh, you've found a word that you liked when you're in Venice because it doesn't have a meaning, and that somehow relates to your teenage angst. Oh, get the fuck out of here. Jesus. And the relationship between Spider-Man and MJ in this one didn't really work for me. It's not that it was wholly ineffective. It was just that I didn't really care for it in a way which I thought I would when it was getting set up in Homecoming. But just didn't click. And there's a lot of things that didn't click about this. The relationships and the high school stuff. You know, all the things that made Homecoming so good and so refreshing just felt flat here for me. And also, I know it can be quite a love it or hate it thing with a lot of the comedy in Marvel films and Disney films. I tend to enjoy it on the whole. Even when it's not working amazingly, I still tend to enjoy it. But sadly, this is one of those films where none of it worked, and it was incredibly infuriating. I actually cannot believe I almost forgot to talk about Jake Gyllenhaal. Who am I? What am I?
Who am I? What am I?
Jake Gyllenhaal's in this one, and he's an incredibly welcome addition. I will love and watch anything Jake Gyllenhaal does, and he's easily the best part of this film because he's just clearly having fun. I knew where this character was going, but the twists were enjoyable and satisfying, and in the second half of this film, his character really comes into its own and is just a lot of fun to watch. But that being said, there are some things with his character that I know it's a comic book film, and I know that this is how it is in the comics, but it is just a little bit fucking dumb, isn't it? Let's not beat around the bush on that one. And perhaps the best testament to how I felt about this film is that I haven't thought about it since I saw it, however many months ago. So there's that. Spider-Man Far From Home, more like Spider-Man Can I Go Home? Because I'm not having a great time in the cinema, let me tell you. But now it's time to talk about the third and final superhero film which came out, which I saw and didn't review. That one was Dark Phoenix, and oh boy. Goodness gracious Ignatius, we have got some talking to do. Fuck it, let's dive straight in. This film was shit on pretty much every level, and I know that isn't a huge surprise because we all kind of knew it was going to be shit, but a little part of me was clinging on hope, you know. I enjoy X-Men films. I've watched all of them. Some of them are really quite terrible. A lot of them are quite good. Some of them are amazing. And this one was like a chance for Fox to redeem themselves with X-Men, right? We've seen this storyline done before in The Last Stand. It's the whole Dark Phoenix saga. Jean Grey going a little bit kind of cuckoo and everyone trying to stop her. Didn't go down too well in The Last Stand, although actually, looking back at it now, let's hold on to that one. They clearly can't do it any better. But this was a chance to do it with a new cast, a different spin, and they fucked it, didn't they? Because this film, oh god, where do I even begin? It's just a complete mess, and not even like an entertaining mess. It was a genuine chore to get through this one, and it's disappointing because I love these characters, and I like the cast on the whole. Obviously, James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender are amazing actors, and they've done great work with these characters before, but like Nick Hoult, Jennifer Lawrence, all of the other cast have done great work with these characters before, and this is the first time for me personally that I've genuinely felt like none of these people want to be here or know what they're doing. They don't want to, no one wants to be in this film. Just so many strange things happen in this film. It's one of those films where it just goes from this to there with this, and it doesn't really seem to have much cohesion to it. I just didn't give a shit, ultimately. I can say whatever I want, all the words under the sun, and it will always come back to the fact that I just didn't give a flying shit about anything that happened in this film. Because it didn't give you a reason to. It doesn't do anything with any of the themes or any of the storylines. It doesn't give you any reason to care. To certain character deaths, I was just like, thank fuck at this point that character is gone. Good riddance. And I don't think, something tells me that they wanted me to feel like that. You can see how, oh, this character needs to do this, and this is how this bit of tension needs to happen, so we'll just do that. So you just get weird scenes that come out of nowhere, and before you know it, Michael Fassbender and Sansa Stark are on some weird fucking commune with their hands in the air going, oh, for about 10 minutes. Oh, it ain't good. It shouldn't be difficult, right? Just to get the action okay. You've got all these different mutants with all these different superpowers. You're always throwing new ones into the mix. We have a couple of new ones here. It should be relatively easy to be able to just make some engaging action set pieces, right? Apparently not. Apparently not. There's a scene where essentially the action set piece is them just trying to cross a fucking road in traffic, right? And it just becomes people extending things or using their hair to hit people, and I just thought to myself, why in the sweet name of fuck am I here? Why did I pay money? And I'd argue, as soon as anyone has that thought in a cinema, the film's probably lost you. It was just things happening that I didn't care about, and then occasionally it would be bright. There'd be a bit of fire, and one of the other X-Men would be like, no, can't believe this is happening. I can believe this happened. It was a shitstorm in almost every sense of the word. occasionally vaguely funny, occasionally vaguely entertaining. At least finally after this, you'd like to think that they're just gonna nail that coffin shut. I struggle to believe how anyone could successfully pitch any more of these films at this point. There's got to be no one that's like, well, that went well. Like a dog that dribbles on your foot. Just put it down, man. Just put it down. And on that lovely note, I think that just about wraps it for today's superhero-centric movie catch-up. Oh, that was a bit of a tongue twister, huh? Let me know what you thought about any of those films in the comment down below. No doubt you're going to have some opinion on one of those, so let it out, man. Just let it go. Also, while you're down there, get thinking about any other films that have come out in the last 6 months that I didn't do a review on that you'd like to see me talk about. Let me know and I will get to it in a future catch-up review. But as usual, if you like this video and you do want to see me talk about more shit, please consider clicking subscribe, hitting that like button, helps me out big time, and also, just fun to click things, innit? So, there's that. Don't click it again. Don't unclick. Just once. Please. I'll see you guys next week for another movie catch-up. We'll be talking about things that aren't as painful. Oh no, shit, no, there is one. Until next time, stay beautiful, mother truckers.